Hello, and welcome to the Simply Business Interview Podcast, a podcast created by business owners for business owners. I am your host, John Jennings. And I believe that most business owners are working way too hard for much too little. And one of our issues is that we overcomplexify things. I believe the answers are almost always within us or within our reach. I like to say that I'm a simple man with simple ideas. So welcome to Simply Business. All right, today we are joined by Matt Laherty, who is the founder of Cinch IoT. Matt, why don't you tell us a little bit more about what you do and kind of how this has come about?
Yeah, absolutely, John. Thanks for having me on the podcast. So Cinch IoT is about building a two-wire low voltage intelligent building platform. So we do commercial lighting, air quality monitoring, and then of course applications that do things such as people counting or monitor the health of the building and mate that up to eventually a cloud service. But we build all the hardware and software to make it a reality. And the best part for customers is it saves them money when they first install it. It's a lower cost system to install and it's a lower cost system to operate. So lots of customers, that kind of resonates. They want to hear more about it.
Yeah, so you lost a few people at cable or whatever, so just kind of back it up a little bit. Traditional smart, I think people are familiar with the idea of smart homes and smart buildings. They're controlled by Ethernet cable typically today, right? Is
Yeah,
that kind of
typically,
the
yeah,
yeah?
that's
And
correct.
so people know those Ethernet ports that we used to plug into computers before we had wireless. That type of cable, which is I'm trying to think how many wires are in an Ethernet cable. I used to know
Eight.
that stuff.
There are eight
8.
wires in an
I,
Ethernet.
I started saying 8. Then I'm like, maybe it's 10. No,
No, it is. It's eight.
I used to know how to terminate those back in the day, 20 years ago or something. But that's been a minute or two. So you got the complexity of those types of cables, specialty cables that have to get run and always have issues with terminations and all sorts of things. At least from my background, we'd always run into that kind of thing.
Correct.
So now you've replaced it with something that looks almost as simple as like a speaker wire. Is that
Well,
fair?
yeah, that's right. The speaker wire or thermostat wire. But we did more than that. We actually replaced the entire AC wiring infrastructure with this low voltage cable. So instead of doing an AC circuit, whether it's a commercial building, that circuit has to be an armored conduit or essentially metal pipe
Yeah.
that's going to carry your electric circuit. We eliminate that whole thing and put power and communications on two wires that power and talk to the light. So there's no additional overlay communication network. It's already embedded in the wires. So the whole overall system just got a whole lot simpler. So it's just two wires, like I said, it's kind of like speaker wire.
Yeah.
You could even run it over barbed wire if you had to. So it's low voltage, it's safe, quick to put in, ubiquitous wire. I mean, so it's a big cost savings, like I said, up front on installation, but because it's simple, lots of different people are qualified to install it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting. So what led you down? I mean, I'm just trying to think again. I have a little bit of experience in this space, and I'm thinking that would never. I mean, if I had asked one of my engineers, "Hey, can we do something like this?" They would say, they'd laugh me out of the room and say, "Leave us alone. Let the tech guys do our job." What, where did you come up with this idea? How did
Well, yeah.
tell me
So
about the
okay,
genesis of it?
this has been many years in the works. So let me kind of rewind a little bit. I graduated from IU in Bloomington, Indiana, back in '94, and from there I moved out to Silicon Valley, and I had a history degree. I wasn't sure what I wanted to do, and I was in the middle of the tech center, and I'm like, this is interesting. Not sure what I'm going to do. I ended up working as a technology recruiter, and so
Okay.
I helped firms like Intel and others hire engineers, technicians, folks in manufacturing. This is back when we were still manufacturing computer modules in California. Not, I mean,
Right.
this is before anything got shipped overseas. It was all made in Milpitas. So I was sitting there and I was really intrigued by tech. And I just thought it was terrific. All these companies building all this technology. So I decided, well, I better get some more skills. And I went to San Jose State right there in the heart of Silicon Valley, and I got an MBA. So I thought, well, if I'm not going to be an engineer, maybe I can work in marketing. Well, it turns out marketing has all the fun. Um, well, engineering has a lot of fun too, but I ended up going into product management, and I worked at a startup, and then I went to AT&T or Pacific Bell and worked on fiber optic transport networks. And that led me to getting a call from Cisco Systems. So I worked in service provider routing, which is just, network equipment, kind of the heart of the internet. And I moved from there to Ethernet switching and actually launched Power over Ethernet for Cisco. So that
Wow.
I was the
Okay.
first person at Cisco to have a Power over Ethernet product. Got to name it PoE after the standard because that was part of the launch. And so well, you ask how to get into it. It's really just a 25-year evolution of working with Cisco clients on all of their different kinds of networking needs. And I realized, hey, we have to do a better job of managing the devices, managing energy. All of these networks end up in buildings. Well, what else could you power with an Ethernet port? And I started looking at lighting, a lot of other things, and
Right.
realized, well, if you do low voltage lighting, you might be able to save customers money and put it in quickly, but then you can do all these other interesting things on top of the network. So I started the digital ceiling program for Cisco and did power over Ethernet lighting
Yeah.
and built the program for Cisco. And it evolved. And we spent a lot of time working with electricians and IT people, but at the end of the day, lighting is primarily an electrical profession. And
Right.
we had built some PoE solutions, but realized, you've got to really build the right product for the channel. It's not just about the end customer. You also have to make the product fit in the channel, and the channel is the electric channel. So we pivoted. So Cinch we've been doing this for a little over 3 years, and the technology it's built on a lot of IT like technology, but it really masks the complexity. And there were some other developments over the last few years where there were some new chip technologies that allowed us to combine power and communication on the same two wires. So it makes it really easy. And
Yeah.
hence that's why it's called a cinch.
Yeah.
No,
It's a
well,
cinch.
I guess the pun is intended. Yeah.
Well, and it's funny how really smart people uh, go, oh, it's really easy, because there's a percentage of people out there that completely got lost in those technical details. But I'm more about the human story of kind of how companies come about. And you've got this history background to HR recruiting to MBA to marketing to eventually doing engineering, Ethernet
Right.
engineering. and
Right.
and did I hear you say you are the person who came up with the PoE moniker?
I came up with the name because but I was not involved in the underlying engineering. So I was the
Okay,
first
but you
product
came up with
manager.
the name. You're the guy
Yeah,
that
I
came up
came up with the
with
name.
PoE.
Yep.
We use the phrase PoE all the time,
Yep.
and you're the guy behind that. So
Did the
that's
global launch. We had John Chambers, the CEO at the time, do the
yeah.
launch and used the Cisco TV studios. And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's that's fascinating. So you're at an interesting stage because you're not pre-revenue. You've had some revenue, but you're ready to, as you said earlier with me, you're ready to punch the gas.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
so tell us about probably without getting into too much of the weeds, but from a technical standpoint. But how has this process been from you know testing the waters and getting product out there to then when did you know, okay, we're ready for prime time, let's go.
Yeah, great question. Well, it's a when you're building hardware and software, there from a hardware perspective, there's a process in terms of you spend time working with clients and just you sort of mock up an idea and you go
Yeah.
sit down with the clients and you go, does this make sense to you? And you start working through kind of a cost study to make sure, well, can we build it at a cost effective, uh, using cost effective inputs? And then of course, can we manufacture it here? Do we need to manufacture it overseas? You put the straw man together. Then you have to start designing the actual product. And this involves sheet metal, computer boards, a lot of software. You start piecing it together. And then, of course, you have to go through safety testing. Every electrical product has to go through underwriters' labs to make sure that it was designed properly. You can't sell a product without that listing. And so, uh, that can take a very long time. So that's where the patience. I'm not saying I'm patient, but there's no way to fast track it. So you have to go build the product as quickly as you can. You can make some modifications. There's some rules within inside that framework, but you want to move as quickly as you can and just kind of map it out. We just got our safety listing here a couple of months ago. We finally had our manufacturing review, so we're ready to rock and roll. We've done a couple of pilot projects just to make sure everything is working and exercise the manufacturing process. But yeah, there's no way to shortcut it. It
Yeah.
just takes time. And we knew that up front. I mean, the team, the other big part of this is it takes more than an idea. You have to have the right people on the team and they have to have the right skill stack. And they also
Right.
have to be willing to be patient and
Yeah.
kind of go for the ride with you. So it's been an adventure, that's for sure.
If I remember correctly, you have about 10 folks on your team,
Yeah,
something like
roughly
that. Yeah.
10 people. We have a couple, well, we have more than a couple of folks full time. We
Yeah.
have a couple of people that are sort of moonlighting. They do consulting on different projects. So that skill stack that I mentioned,
Yeah.
it's very rare to find whether it's a hardware engineer or an electrical or a software engineer who can do everything. Typically you'll find an electrical engineer who knows how to do circuit design, but you need to have it laid out for manufacturing. And there's green board that has to be designed, and you've also got to design it for the right manufacturing equipment, and then it has to fit in a metal box. And so there's a bunch of folks who do a little bit of work, from time to time and make CAD files for us. And I mean, it's a big, heavy lift to get it to this point.
Yeah. All right. So you've gotten to this point,
Yeah.
and you're like, okay, punch the gas. What's that look like? What's your strategy for going to market with this?
Well, go to market is so it's you gotta figure out the channel, and we will sell through a lot of what we call manufacturers reps. Those are people in different markets who carry a line card of similar kinds of products. So our go to market will involve a number of lighting agents, electrical contractors, manufacturing reps, and it's a mix. The good news is because we've been doing a lot of this for so long, we have a really deep Rolodex. There's a lot of people we can call on to help us get the word out.
For
So
the kids out there, Rolodex is like your iPhone contact list.
it's like your Palm Pilot, your old Palm Pilot. Yeah, yeah. Um, that's funny.
I use that phrase all the time too. Anyway,
Yeah, it was around. I don't, you know what? I never even used a Rolodex. Never used
I
one.
actually had one on my desk early in my career, but that I don't
That's
really
funny.
remember ever using it.
Well, thanks for jumping in on that. So
Sorry.
we make a lot of calls. And you train a lot of people. We're actually now using AI to create explainer videos. So there's a lot of education that has to go on. We have a number of clients that have large franchise. They've got a lot of branches, so they want to go like crazy. And so
Yeah.
for us, it makes more sense. Those are sort of cookie cutter projects. That's kind of an easy thing for us to tackle. But we've got to get ready to really ramp up the volume. We have a distributor who's saying, "Hey, we're ready to put this stuff in our warehouse and help you sell it." And you just on the one hand, you want to go quickly. You also you don't want to make too many mistakes, but you also can't sit back. I mean, it's a bit of a balancing act of do you step on the gas, do you step on the brake, just making sure you're ready to go. Because when you start shipping product all over the country, and the system today will dial home. So when you plug it in, the electrician can hook everything up. The system will kind of phone home to a server where our engineers they can access it. We can
Yeah.
remotely commission the system, remotely assist the customer. Well, you want to make sure all that works before you ship,
Right.
50 systems to 50 sites all over the
Yeah.
West. I mean,
Yeah.
so
You can inundate your engineers overnight
correct,
if you're not
correct.
careful. So, but this is a one of a kind thing. No one else has this, right?
No one else has this, and over the years, I mean, I'm trying not to talk too much about the tech, but one of the other interesting things about this is there's emergency lighting. We have an emergency standby power system, so the boxes that we sell can come with or without a UPS. Well, when you have it with the UPS, you can do life safety lighting. That's emergency egress lighting, exit
Sure.
signs, that kind of
Yeah.
thing, which every commercial building has to have. Well, we use software to configure the system so that the installer can hook everything up and then decide whether they want, light 2, 3, 7, and 9 to be emergency lights, or whether they want them all to be lights. Nobody's done that before. So
Huh.
there's a number of unique combinations that make this really compelling for clients.
Yeah. So it's a lower cost, easier to install. Um, I assume do you have some patents on this, or is
Well, we do have a
patent
lot of
pending?
IP. Some of it
Yeah.
some we will patent, but my
Yeah.
experience, I've done a lot of patent work before.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff you don't actually want to patent. You want to just not share it with people. You want to have it embedded in the system, but if you want to keep it a secret, build it, but don't file.
No
So
patent. I've heard
so
that.
we have a long list of things we're working on, but those are also, it takes so long to get patents. Uh,
Yeah.
we're making sure it works first and sort of patent second.
Yeah. But yeah, I was just thinking about that there will be people trying to backward engineer this, the moment it shows
Oh
up.
yeah. Yeah, it's a roadmap, and actually, well, big companies tend to do that fairly slowly, but but it'll take them time. We know how
Yeah.
much work was done in the microprocessors and just setting up the architecture. So, but that's okay. It'll help validate the market. I mean, the market is absolutely enormous, and I you know I believe the low voltage approach is the way to do this. We've had high current AC lines, they replaced gas lamps. And at this, kind of the next turn of that crank is low voltage will replace heavy duty AC electrical lines. You've also, given the inflation going on with copper and steel, there's a
Right.
lot of pressure to try to save money on the infrastructure.
Right. So let's think about, you're getting ready to roll out. I usually ask the question, something along, what keeps you up at night? What are you worried about in this rollout? Because we all have to, we all have our worries when we go to bring a product to market as well.
Yeah, I've launched products my whole career. It's lots of, there isn't any one thing. There's lots of little things that it's just making sure everything is ready to go, making sure the team has fully tested the code. There's a lot of hardware that comes together in manufacturing, making sure we have enough parts. Logistics and supply chain has been an ongoing issue. It really, in a way, we're very fortunate that we designed this during COVID and even before the tariffs hit. So we have a very modular design where if we get a part shortage on one thing, we're able to pivot. We have some flexibility there. But that it just continues to be an issue. And
Right.
I would say that's probably the biggest thing is we check in with suppliers to just take a look at lead times. You can quickly go from, I mean, in electronics, components are typically 4 weeks. Well, you can go from 4 to 14, 16 weeks,
Yeah.
like from one day to the next. So that's probably the biggest thing that we just have to stay on top of that. Um, there's a lot of things we can control, so we basically pre-order parts well ahead of what we think we're going to sell. The good news too with the system is it's an engineered solution, So we get a lot of visibility and we get good information from buyers. Um, the day we lose that insight, I'll be happy because it means we're getting so big. That's a good thing. But when you have a bigger installed base, you can also forecast material better. That's probably the biggest thing. I mean, there's
Yeah.
software bugs and things, but that's all normal.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Supply chain issues are hard to overcome at times. I mean, because it is truly outside your complete control. You can have some backups and redundancy and other
Right.
things, but
You
ultimately, if it's all coming from the same source, which a lot of this stuff is, you got that risk.
right. Right.
So what's your scale prediction? What do you think you're going to be a year from now or 2 years from
Well, we've got a couple solutions that we haven't announced yet. We're doing some work with data centers, hyperscalers, and well, we can do thermal monitoring of bus bars and power systems. And I didn't realize this till we started talking to some of these clients. They generally have no ability to understand how hot their electrical infrastructure is operating. They'll take handheld cameras and walk around these data centers. Well, our system is very easily adapted to do continuous thermal monitoring. So we've been asked to build some product, and the product is actually in the lab right now. It's about ready to be available. It's built on things that are already UL listed. So from a listing perspective, I don't have that cycle to worry about.
now?
So that's probably the biggest thing. Is the question is how quickly will they start deploying this?
Yeah.
Overheating in data centers is a huge problem because these pieces of equipment, if they will literally melt down
Yeah.
the through power cycling bolts and nuts, and the nuts will start to back off. And when they do, you'll melt metal. That'll take rows out of service, and it's a huge expense to get it repaired. So you
Yeah.
have these servers that are down, and it's never the system that was just installed. It's something that's been there for 2 years. So then they
Yeah.
have to decide by the time they get replacement electrical gear, switch gear, do they just go ahead and update the whole row? So it turns into
Yeah.
tens of millions of dollars. So
So,
the
so with
question is,
the AI data center infrastructure going out there, that's a huge opportunity for you, I guess.
absolutely, both lighting and also telemetry. It's hard to say, but I could see some very large numbers by the end of next year.
Yeah. Cool. And we're going to say, wow, I remember when he was on that podcast and
Right.
just getting
They're
started.
just starting out. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've had a couple of guests on here that are just, at this point where they're just getting ready to launch something big. And a couple of them have had some great successes since. So hopefully yours is just another one of those great stories.
I certainly hope so. I mean, what keeps me up? I mean, we have a US based contract manufacturer lined up. I mean,
Yeah.
that's one of the problems is you don't want to, I don't know if you remember many years ago, there was a UPS commercial where it was like during the dot-com era. These guys are sitting around the computer and they get their first order and they cheer, and then the second order and the fifth order and the 10th order. And they
Yeah.
get within a few seconds, they're at like 1,000. They're starting to go, what are we going to do? And it's UPS, right? UPS will help with the logistics. Well, yeah, UPS does our logistics. I'm not worried
Right.
about UPS delivering. I want to make sure we can scale and ramp production. Uh, so those are the things you got
Yeah.
to think through before you get those kinds of orders.
Yeah. That's yeah, it's so true. And yeah, it's one thing to build 10. It's a whole other thing to build 10,000.
Right, right. We want it, but yeah, are we going to be able to scale that? So that's
Yeah.
that's a big question. I've
Yeah.
spent a lot of my career in high scale operations, and
Yeah.
when stuff
Yeah. If
goes
you're at Oracle,
wrong,
you've got experience of, or Cisco,
Cisco,
right?
yeah, we
You're at Cisco, so you've got experience with high volume stuff for sure.
yeah. Oh no, I could tell you some stories. They maybe another
Yeah.
time. That's
And
another
another time, yeah. Uh, so so the people you're trying to reach, people you're trying to get in front of right now, uh, integrators, resellers, people like that. Is that your
Correct. Yeah,
primary?
it's really,
Yeah.
we're spending a lot of time talking to channel partners,
Yeah.
getting them to understand what the solution set is, and then they put us in front of end users. And
Right.
we're at the training phase where they're not necessarily comfortable telling the story.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple folks on the team that no problem. We'll put them on a phone call. If the project's big enough, we'll put them on a plane. But it's really kind of hand-holding system integrators. And again, the good news there is these are a lot of people we've worked with in the past. This isn't it's a new product and a new value prop, but it's not a new problem area for them, and they're
Yeah.
already dealing with clients that do lighting, building controls, automation.
Right.
So it fits that.
I could just picture some of those engineers out there because I was on the integrator side years ago, and I just picture my engineers going, I don't believe this. I don't believe that. They tend to be slow to believe in new technology, So
Well, yeah, it's the Missouri is the show me state, and
yeah,
we're actually in the process of building. I'm going to say portable demo kits. They're portable out of a trunk. I mean, but I can run a building on them. But people want to see it. You've got to get the
oh yeah,
product out there with the whole system, the controllers, all the electronics. They just want to see it because they have a hard time believing, wait, you're putting power to run commercial lights over these little wires and you're talking to it, you're collecting air quality data, CO2, temperature, smoke. It's I can show it. We've got the product. So
yeah,
yeah, you got to get in front of them. But the engineers, they're highly skeptical. They
yeah,
do want to see it.
yeah, yeah, for sure. So people want to find out more. Where do they find you?
They go to cinchiot.com, and it's cinch like it's super simple, CINCHIOT.com. And IoT is Internet of Things. So we do lighting, but we do all this other stuff. And over
Yeah,
time, we'll add more sensors. But there will be a lot of information there. There's a lot of white papers, there's cut sheets. So they can get tons of info there.
great. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on the show and stories. Of course, I'm a tech geek, so I as well. So I appreciate both the technology side as well as just the human side of having the courage to go down this path. I mean, it's fascinating, and I appreciate what you're doing, and wish you nothing but greatest success in the future.
Awesome. Well, John, thanks for having me. It's been fun meeting with you today. I appreciate it.
Look, take care.
Take care.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you liked it, please share or like it on whatever platform you use. You can find me on social media. On most platforms, I'm John K. Jennings. My first book is also available. Your Baby is Ugly tells you about 10 truths that business owners need to hear, but often won't, and how to overcome them. You can find it on Amazon. Just search for Your Baby is Ugly. And be watching for our next episode where I'll interview another business owner who will share their stories and insights into what it's like to create a great business.